Greater Lagos. Ìgbéga ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó àjùmọ̀ṣe ni.
Beyond the ability to read and write, education is essential for the development of self and crucial for economic growth of any given society. Little wonder countries with high literacy rates tend to have better economic development and citizen well-being. My name is Lucille Lugbe. Welcome to Greater Lagos. Before the establishment of formal education, our society made use of traditional systems of education, one where students are taught practical skills needed to function effectively in an indigenous society. They are taught customs of their people, assigned specific tasks like clearing bush, farming, wood carving, and so on. Then came formal education, which was introduced by the British missionaries in the 1840s. The first being Nursery of Infant Church, later renamed as St. Thomas Anglican Nursery and Primary School, located in Badagry, Lagos. This sector has recorded tremendous progress, particularly in this administration. Hence, it is included in the theme's key frame agenda of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu-led administration. Our guest on this episode of Greater Lagos is the Honorable Commissioner for Education in Lagos State, Mrs. Folashade Adefisayo. Stay with us.
Greater Lagos. Greater Lagos.
It's good to have you on Greater Lagos, Ma.
Thank you so much for having me.
So I would like to know, how important is education for this administration?
It's important. It's a bedrock of development, of civilization, really. And you know, when you educate people, you ensure that they are fit for the workplace, but you also ensure that they are fit for life. They are good citizens. They know the right way to exercise their citizenship, their leaders, and so on. So it is so fundamental to a human being's well-being in life and ability to move forward and do well. And it's also fundamental for the economy, for the state as a whole. So its impact is huge. And this state government realizes that. And because of that, we've developed a large number of programs. It explains its importance in the themes agenda. It explains its importance even in the budget for education and the rate of growth on an annual basis. It reflects on so many projects that are done to ensure that every child who leaves the system is the better off for it.
Okay, can you highlight some of the programs that you talked about?
Well, when we say themes agenda, there are certain things we've done. First of all, we have this transformation plan. There are about 16 elements of it, starting with infrastructure, because of course it's important that the children go to school in a conducive environment, like we always say. So we are looking at infrastructure, we are looking at teachers, we are looking at integration with technology, we are looking at TVET, so that the students do have the skills to be able to operate successfully in the world they are in today. We are looking at other items on the agenda, such as ability of schools, access to schools, children with special needs. It goes on and on. Quality assurance, private schools, private PPP, public-private, collaboration, working with partners in the public sector, and so on. So there's really quite a lot.
All those things you've mentioned, what exactly is your ministry doing to ensure that the education received in this state matches that of their counterparts globally?
Well, when you talk of global, that's why there are so many initiatives. First of all, there's the integration with technology. It is not, if we talk about the global world that we are in now, it's quite clear that technology has played a major role in the globalization of the whole world, so that what they are doing here, we know what they're doing in China, we know what they're doing in Brazil, and so on. And so the integration of technology is extremely critical. And when I say something like technology, the number of projects under technology would basically be nearly about 15. That is, we do things like it encompasses devices for students, a social portal where they can access curriculum, devices for teachers as well, and of course where they too can access a scheme of work that is up to date and modern. And so these are some of the things that you have to do to ensure that they meet their counterparts. The first one, like I said, is how do we integrate technology? The second one is always a focus, whether it's technology or whatever, how do we improve teaching and learning so that the experience is great for students and they come out with great learning outcomes? I think that's that for me. If you can focus on those two elements, all the other elements sit on those two elements.
Okay, so you're saying that teachers are included in the integration plan for technology in the classrooms.
Let me tell you something about education. It's never good. No matter if you have the most beautiful classrooms, air conditioners in every room, and so on, all resources, all bells and whistles, as they say. If you don't have good teachers, it's a waste of money. Teachers are the most critical factor in any educational system, and that is why teachers for us are key. Whatever we do, we must bring in the teacher element into it. So, because I'm not saying teachers, and so it means that if we talk about technology, you're not talking about the students alone. You are actually talking about how the teachers are going to deploy technology to improve teaching in the classroom.
What major achievement have you recorded in terms of education in the last 3 years?
Well, every area that we've touched, I give kudos to Mr. Governor because he's a great supporter and cheerleader. He wants us to do well. So every area of what I call the educational value chain, we have actually touched in one way or the other. If we start with infrastructure, we've done over 1,400 projects, and we are also developing more projects as we go along. Whether it's building additional classrooms, we haven't built new schools in many years, but we have actually built new schools now. And population has been growing. So the number of schools have stayed static, and therefore they were very full. There were too many children in the classroom. So we built additional schools. We've done a lot with buildings, renovating buildings, and even come up with a very novel idea in infrastructure, which is what we call our iconic structures. We have one that we just finished, and we're working on another 5 across all districts. That is the school built from containers. We have the first one we finished is the wetland school. We also have what we call a structure that will ensure that children with learning challenges and so can stay there comfortably and get to the 3rd floor. The first one is the Ogombo school, which we are doing in collaboration, again working on partnerships, in collaboration with the Council of Wives of Lagos State officials. It's at Ogombo. We'll commission it this month. The 3rd iconic structure is the one we opened at Lemoro. It's a new school, spanking new school, never existed before. And for these, we put track and field basketball court so that within that building, we have encompassed the totality of education. So we are doing a lot of work on infrastructure. We've done a lot of work on teaching. Okay. Because like I said, teaching is number one, but they do need to be in a good environment. So when it comes to teaching, we spent a lot training our teachers on technology, on new skills in the classroom. We have this project in the primary schools called the Eco Excel program. Every teacher in the Eco Excel program has a tablet. And on that tablet are schemes of work and also, of course, suggestions to how to improve and so on. So they teach using the tablet not as a crutch, but as a support for their teaching in the classroom. So that too is there. So when it comes to technology, we are also ensuring that our teachers are skilled up and able to use it to improve their productivity. And things like making teachers know how important they are, because they're extremely important. We have things like Teachers Merit Award on an annual basis. It's a competitive process where teachers apply and say, look, I'm a great teacher. So we look at their track record, look at their files, we watch them teaching, we interview them. The whole thing is done by the private sector. So I never ever know who the winners are until they're announced by Mr. Governor. We give him the envelope about a minute before. So even I don't know what is inside. And they've been given cars. The winners get cars. And this makes teachers feel good, that they are recognized, that people know they're good, they're great. People know their impact on society.
Is it a motivation for
teachers, yeah. So, and we're also looking into housing for teachers in distressed areas. Teachers, we make sure we keep recruiting, because at the point we didn't recruit in the state for some years. And so we didn't have enough teachers. We still haven't reached there, but in the past 3 years, we recruited over 7,000 teachers. So to fill up the schools, and so it's getting better and better. It's an incremental kind of thing. And of course, I think that's a major achievement to recruit the 7,000, as in our secondary schools. And we are also recruiting in our primary schools as well. Another major achievement is the kickoff of what we call the comprehensive schools. Now, we have technical training in 5 colleges across the state, which is not enough for such a state with the highest population possibly in the whole country. How can we have just 5 schools with carrying capacity of about 10,000? So we came to a conclusion that we would use existing capacity in our present secondary schools.
In the just concluded summit, you said that it will no longer be a talk shop. What exactly do you mean by that?
Talk shop meaning we just come and talk. I mean, we know the problems, we rehash them, there are many presentations, and then we go away, and that's it. So what I said is that this one, we know the problems, we want to look for solutions. So it was a solutions-based exercise, at the end of which we are coming up with solutions and implementable solutions, practical solutions that will transform education as we know it. And so that is why I said it is very, very important that we don't just come and sit and talk. The important, so that when you have a next summit, challenge us and say, last time you came and put us here, we talked about what have you done since then. Another major achievement is that is what we've done with the curriculum, which is part of the reason why our students are doing well, because the curriculum is what you teach. The teachers are who teaches, and so, but the curriculum is the content. What we've done is that we've looked at the Nigerian curriculum, we've developed it, and we think what we have now is what the Nigerian curriculum really should be. And we looked at our scheme of work and divided it and done it in such a way that it integrates what we call the 21st century skills that are essential for a student to do well, together with digital links, hyperlinks, and so on. So that when a teacher looks at teaching a topic like the eye, it's not just to lecture, it's also to see how in this lecture, in this class, talking to them about what the eye is about, I'm able to integrate their ability to collaborate with other people, their creative instincts, their critical thinking instincts, and so on. So it's not just, this is the eye. And if you're a teacher, you understand what I'm saying, in that you can teach any subject, but the way you teach it will integrate those skills. And so we focused a lot on skills. We will look at it and say, what are the skills you can integrate into this topic? So that's what our scheme of work looks like. And we are putting it on digital media. We're going to launch it very soon.
Greater Lagos.
Education shall play a vital role in achieving a greater Lagos. Coming up next is our conversation with mega citizens of the state, and Eco Daily comes right after. Don't go anywhere.
Our children are doing very well in their education because Lagos State government is teaching them well and monitoring them as well.
Lagos State government so on kọ́ wọn dáadáa wọ́n dẹ̀ ń ṣe dáadáa wọ́n monitor wọn dáadáa ní gbogbo nǹkan tí ó yẹ kán kọ́ wọn.
I live in Surulere, and honestly, without missing words, I must confess that the Lagos State government, through its various technical partners, have been instrumental as to facilitating infrastructural projects in the various secondary schools we have in Lagos State. I know that at each local government, at each local ward level, they have supervisors that teachers and principals of various secondary schools and even primary schools report to, such that issues of policy and governmental structure doesn't drag, so that there is a fast response governmental service that meets the needs of some of these secondary schools. So to a large extent, the Lagos government is doing very well, and I would want to employ other states to take a leaf, copy, and learn from the Lagos State government.
Lagos State government does not collect school fees. Any child that says otherwise is lying.
Greater Lagos.
Did you know that about 70% of public school students that enroll in Junior Secondary 1 drop out of school by the end of Senior Secondary 2? This data was analyzed by the Ministry of Education. It shows that these dropout students leave school for various socio-economic reasons, most of which is the lack of financial support coupled with the perceived irrelevance of education they are getting. As a result, they end up being street hawkers, domestic workers, or becoming victims to societal vices. To rise up to this challenge, the Lagos State government designed the Lagos State Comprehensive School Program. This fit-for-purpose competency-based invention focuses on providing career-ready skills as an option for these students who desire to pursue other paths different from the pure academic path. These students will be equipped with the globally marketable skills such as fisheries, urban farming, software development, digital marketing, graphic design, computer repair and maintenance, makeup and makeover, furniture making and upholstering design, drama and performing arts, photography and videography, negotiation and public speaking, personal leadership and business development skills. These and many more are the programs set aside by the Lagos State government to benefit the dropout students of the Lagos State schools. Now the question is, are you as a Lagosian parent or guardian keying into this amazing invention the Lagos State government has made available for its citizens? These and many more are the programs put in place to alleviate poverty in Lagos State by the Lagos State government. This is the wrap on Eco Daily today.
Greater Lagos.
What does the future hold for Nigerian youths, especially in Lagos, as regards to education?
Well, we think with all the things that we're doing, education is interesting in that there are low-hanging fruits that come out immediately, like maybe our WAEC results went up from 39 to nearly 80, which was fantastic for us. But in the main, education is a long, if you want it to work, you have to put in place sustainable long-term goals. And so many of these things will start to come out over the next few years. And we will see that the quality of learning, like a child who goes to primary school under the Eco-Excel program, I've told you all the skills the child will come out with. He goes to secondary school, it's reinforced there, even more skills, even more learning. He goes to senior secondary, decides, look, I want to be a tiler. We are now importing tilers from other countries. He wants to be a tiler. He's earning, multiple times what a graduate earns. And in the curriculum, he's taught things like financial literacy, entrepreneurship. So he wants to run his own business. He's able to set up his own business. He's able to negotiate with his bankers. He's able to write an invoice, write a business plan. He's able to collaborate with a partner to possibly, let me do the tiling, you do the plumbing. That kind of thing. He has excellent communication skills. He's a good marketer. He understands digital literacy and how it will help his work, because all of them are given tablets. And of course, he's very cognizant of health, safety, and environment. What that kind of person will be. The impacts that the numbers, the numbers will trickle out, but after a while, we feel that they will reach a point where they will blow out. And Lagos will have, and when you come out of a Lagos school, people will know you are truly, totally well educated. So that's what we are working on.
All right, so you talked about the recently released WAEC result, which was very impressive. So in your opinion, what do you think is responsible for that?
WAEC results don't come by because you pray for it or wish for it. Of course, you always pray for most things, but you have to work for it as well. And last year, or 2 years ago, when we looked at WAEC results, we were not happy. So we went around, we did a lot of things. So in fact, I have a slide that shows that we had 20 initiatives, but I'll just talk about a few of them. But we went around, met the subject associations. Lagos is very interesting in that every subject, we have subject associations. So our teachers teaching maths are in the maths association. So they meet together. It's not to meet and be gisting or whatever. It's to meet and plan how they are going to teach better, because there's something called pedagogy. Pedagogy is the intersection between the subject and the method of delivery. And physics is different from literature and it's different from social studies. So they meet together to say, look, as teachers, we all know this, there are commonalities. But for us as maybe French teachers, this is how we're going to make French more engaging in the classroom. This is the equipment that we need, the training that we need. So we went around all of them and we all decided there to come up with strategies to improve our results. And the strategies included coming early to school, doing early morning drill, especially in English and maths, so that people become very fast. In spelling, in completing sentences, in comprehension passages, and so on. So the students get to school early, an hour before school starts. And then the students close late because they do homework, they do discussions. And then even the teachers' pedagogy, their delivery in the classroom, that's how we train them a lot on, delivery and making classroom more engaging and interactive so that the students enjoy their learning better. There were things like digital. Yes, we had, that was a major achievement of the state, where during COVID, we were able to keep on learning because we got devices into the hands of quite a number of students. We went online, taught at various levels, Telegram, WhatsApp, radio, television, and online and internet. So these children had devices and we are able to monitor their use of the devices.
Okay, so is there any area you would like us to talk about in terms of partnerships?
Yeah, we did many of the things that we did were in collaboration with partners. And I'd like to mention that the partners included other MDAs. We could not have done everything ourselves. Things like sports, we had to work with Lagos State Ministry of Sports, and they've been very supportive in ensuring that sports remains a feature in schools so that we're able to really provide a total education. We've worked with Ministry of Youth again and the social infrastructure on things like guidance counseling, children with very, very serious issues that we've referred to the very qualified counselors that they have. We've worked with corporate organizations. A group of corporate organizations actually donated devices to us during COVID and funded the platform. They gave the students 3-year data access. And we're still working with them up till today. So we had that. We had the corporate partners. We work with a lot of NGOs who do things like now looking at things like the co-curricular, extracurricular things in school, supporting us with them. We have those that work on drug abuse, cultism, bullying, and so on. They're quite a large number, and we ensure that virtually every state is covered. We've had partnerships with people who wanted to transform education and therefore worked with us, training our teachers, supporting their learning, and so on. Some just came to assess the quality and the success of our program. So it's not been us in Ministry of Education alone. And I do acknowledge my staff and the directors, the permanent secretaries, the tutor generals, the way they worked above the normal call of duty. I acknowledge all of them. And I want people to understand that it's a big thing. And Lagos says, Lagos's mantra that it's all of us working together. And it's been really many of us working together.
Thank you, Honorable Commissioner for Education, Mrs. Folashade Adefisayo, for spending quality time with us on Greater Lagos.
Thank you very much for having me here, and I'm glad that I had the opportunity to tell our own story.
Greater Lagos.
That's it for today's episode of Greater Lagos. We discussed education as the bedrock of every society. We've also seen the various innovations the Lagos State government has developed in this sector to ensure students graduating from our schools do so with skills in demand globally. We spoke to the Honorable Commissioner of Education, Mrs. Folashade Adefisayo. We also spoke to the mega citizens of the state on the improvement observed in this sector. What an exciting episode it has been. Till next time, I remain Lucille Lupe. Bye for now.
Greater Lagos. Ìgbéga ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó àjùmọ̀ṣe ni.